BJ from Game Gumbo. I've got my guest here, Steve Finn from Dr. Finn's Games. And this is one, the other games that we talked about tonight, I knew a little bit about it, did a little bit of research. This is one I missed. I don't know a lot about this one, but I know people in the Gateway and Filler Games group are really excited, and hopefully I'm pronouncing it right, about Nanga Parbat.
I don't know how to pronounce it myself.
Okay, good. Well, Steve, tell us about Nanga Parbat, which I think is coming out on Kickstarter with a big group of your 2021 releases on August 24th, and I'm excited to hear about Nanga Parbat. I'm all in.
To be honest, this is the game to me of the four that I am like ecstatic about more than the other. I mean, I'm happy about all my games, but I really like this game.
Oh man, this is beautiful. Look at this.
Because the artwork is Aussie Haikala. I don't know how to say his last name. You know, I get to know these people. I'm always just like, hey, Aussie. You know, he's the one that did. You know, there's a game called Flamme Rouge.
Oh, this is his art. Okay,
that is his art. Really nice art. And the cover is just, I think he did such a good job. I mean, the whole, all the other stuff and the graphic designer, I think really did a good job. But anyway, this is a 2-player. All right. So first of all, Nanga Parbat is the 9th tallest mountain range in the world. Okay. And you are Sherpa people in this game who are climbing up the mountain, and you are trapping animals for their food and for clothing. And you're also setting up base camps for hikers that are coming through, right? That's the theme.
I think you've got your Kickstarter quote here. Dean Dunning says, Nanga Parbat is the quintessential Dr. Finn Games game.
I think it might be. I mean, it really has a lot of the things that I try to have in a game. You know, a short playing time, a lot of thinky little decisions, but really, really easy rules. This is like a very simple game to play. But there's a lot of things going on. Right? Yeah, it's 1 to 2 player. It's a 2-player game.
2 players. Okay. Yep.
This is strictly 2 players. It's really at its heart, it's an abstract game, but there's a lot of cute like animal meeples and stuff like that. So what happens in this game is you can see that it's made up of like a triangular mountain shape, right? So the big triangle is broken up into 6 little triangles. And so each one of those triangles kinds of is like a microcosm of the whole. Okay. So that when I make a placement in the board, so for example, if I'm in the lower right corner of the board, but then I pick the top space in that lower right corner, I send you to the top of the board. So the section that I pick inside of that region will determine where the next player goes. Oh. And then when you go, you have like those 6 spots to choose from in that little section. And the one that you pick will then send me to that thing. So you have to be thinking about, where am I going to send this other player? If you know, this actually started, do you know that big tic-tac-toe game?
Yeah, sure. The one at Cracker Barrel?
Yeah. So it started where I said, I want to make that game, but I want to use, where you're just basically like, I'm going to pick this lower right quadrant and I'm going to send you to the lower right. And then, and then you're playing tic-tac-toe. So this actually started with that rough idea. And then I discovered someone actually already had a game like that. So then I turned it into a triangle. Yeah. And then there's the animals have special powers, all that stuff. What's that?
How did you tie it to Nanga Parbat? How did that come up?
Well, what happened was I ended up changing it to triangles. And I said, and then I had this triangular. I did all sorts of different shapes. It was just an abstract game. And then I came up eventually with the triangle. And I said, oh, this is cool. What is the big triangle? And then I said, what can that be? And then it's like, oh, it could be a mountain. And then I said, all right, it's a mountain.
Everest and K2 already.
What could the resources be? And then that was the tricky part, because I'm like, what kind of resources are there at the top of a mountain? So thematically, it gets a little loose because there's these animals living up at the top of the mountain. But chances are they're probably not going to be there.
No oxygen bottles? No.
No oxygen bottles. Yeah. So I told the artist, make sure that the board, like the top of the board, isn't actually the top of the mountain. And so he didn't. He doesn't have the mountain all the way at the top. But it still has all the animals living in the snow. But regardless, that's like where the theme kind of breaks down. But that's how I ended up picking the theme. And then once I picked the theme and then I decided on different animals, then all of a sudden, like, the game really opened up because I just said, oh, you know what? These different animals can have different powers. Oh. And then that's all. And then you could see the main players' boards. What happens is when you collect an animal, you put it at the top half of the board. And you could see if you're looking at it, there's arrows pointing down.
Sure.
What you do is you slide it to the bottom of the board to activate it. So you can start piling up all of these animals. And then on your turn, you can use as many of them as you want. Yes. And you could just start comboing all these different things. But then at some point, you also want to trade them in to score points. And there's like a scoreboard in the upper left. But if one person scores a certain set of animals, like if I score 5 different animals, you can't score 5 different animals. So there's this trade-off you have to make between, do I want to save the animals to use their powers, or do I want to quickly turn them in and get the points before the other player does?
So when you're using the animals, can you use the animal special powers and then also score them?
Yes.
Or is that so you don't have to decide between the two? Okay.
Right. You can trade them in too before you use them, but then they're gone.
Then they're gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that when you can pile up all these things and put them in reserve.
Oh, yeah.
The special actions, and then you get to decide how many of those special actions. Aquatica has that, and that's one of the reasons why I like Aquatica so much. 2-player game, so the blue and pink are competing for each other on the spots on the board, but they each have their own board, it looks like, for doing the special actions.
Yeah, that's just to keep track of the animals.
Okay, keep track of the animals. How long go ahead.
You put on there?
Wait, say it again, Brella.
What animals did you put on there?
All right, here. I have their names. So I actually have a copy of the game right here. But so I'll tell you the names of the animals.
You know what would have been awesome, Berla, if he had got somebody over there at that undisclosed location to just jump in and play a game randomly. That would have been fun. Just, hey, we need you to play.
Turn to the side.
I'll just say this: I am completely alone in this parking lot and sitting on the street.
You and the mosquitoes.
Yeah, no, right. I am gonna suffer tonight with scratching. All right, I got a snow leopard, which is white. So I actually matched the colors of the animals with their basic color, with basically what they are.
Nicely
I have
done.
a tar, a T-A-H-R.
I don't know that one.
A musk deer, which is gray. A yak, which is black. A baral, B-H-A-R-A-L. Never heard of that.
I don't know that one.
Which is also blue. This is blue, but it actually has like a bluish hue. The actual piece is more blue. And then a red panda. A cute little red panda.
I love this.
Yeah. And the panda looks a little bit like a squirrel.
And that is Nanga Parbat, a 2-player game from Dr. Finn's Games. It's part of a big package of Kickstarter games he's got coming out August 24th. That's a
Monday.